Education is schooling are found within the context of society, trains and educate the people knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes. The learner, the school, and its curriculum. What to teach or how to teach. Local, community, national, or international. Consensus theory that emphasizes on social order, stability, or social regulation, while conflict is a disagreement or clash between opposing ideas. Principles, Karl Marx argued that society is characterized by class, status, culture. Structural functionalism includes four functional: adaptation, goal attainment, integration, latency, or pattern maintenance. The key principles of the functionalist perspective: interdependence, functions of social structure and culture, consensus and cooperation, equilibrium. Functionalism stresses interdependence of the social system. Structural functionalism emphasizes the social order and social stability and not social conflict. Interactionist theories attempt to make the commonplace strange by noticing, focusing their attention, and observing. Symbolic interactionism. Multiculturalism is the phenomenon of multiple groups of cultures. Three interrelated referents of multiculturalism: demographic, descriptive, ideological, normative, programmatic, political. Multicultural education is a tool for establishing pride and confidence among students in their unique and special backgrounds. Four approaches to accomplish the goals of multicultural education: contribution approach, additive approach, transformation approach, and social action approach. Dimensions of multicultural education: content integration, knowledge construction process, prejudice reduction, equity, and pedagogy. Empowering school culture and social structure. Culturally responsive teaching acknowledges cultural diversity in classrooms and accommodates this diversity. Globalization refers to the increasing interconnectedness and convergence. Global development: as the redirection of globalization, education has become an inseparable tool. Globalization demands an education that develops higher order cognitive and interpersonal skills required for problem solving, problem finding, articulating arguments, and deploying verifiable facts or artifacts.
The topic I discussed to you, the aspect of globalization. There is six aspects of globalization. The first one is industrial transnationalization. Refers to the rise and expansion of multinational and transnational enterprises. For example, the growing number of native-born American citizens who choose to live in Mexico for family business or economic reasons. The second, financial globalization, to the emergence of worldwide financial markets and better access to external financing for corporate, national, and subnational borrowers. For example, outsourcing can add the economic development of a struggling country, bringing much-needed jobs. Third, political globalization refers to the spread of political spheres of interest to the regions and countries. Example, the Belt and Road Initiative is a trade initiative established by China designed to spread China's spheres of influence across Asia and the Middle East, outside the neighborhood of political. Fourth, information globalization. Information globalization refers to the increase in information flows between geographical remote locations. Fifth, cultural globalization. Cultural globalization refers to the growth of cross-cultural contacts where people of the world get a better understanding appreciation of cultural diversity and plurality. Example, for instance, the trading of commodities such as coffees or avocados. And the last one is globalism. Globalism refers to the universal internationalist impulse that the world is connected. Refers to the connection among cultures, nations, and peoples. It embodies cultural diffusion, the desire to consume and enjoy foreign products and ideas, adopt new technologies and practices, and participate in world culture. Example, include the movement of religions or the diffusion of scientific knowledge. In the past, social globalism has often followed military and economic globalism. The four pillars. The first pillar is Asian Economic Community, or AEC. The AEC aims to create a single market and production base for the free flow of goods, services, investments, capital, and skilled labor within Asia. To the International Commission of Education in the 21st century as anchored on the four pillars. First, learning, is learning to know implies learning how to learn by developing one's concentration, memory skills, and ability to think. It includes development of the facilities of memory, imagination, reasoning, problem solving, and ability to think in a coherent and critical way. Learning to do. Number one, skills development. Practice know-how. Develop competence, life skills, personal qualities, aptitudes, and attitudes. The learning to live together first helps the students to develop an understanding of other people, and appreciation of interdependence. Number two, help students realize the value of being able to live together with others. Number three, provide safe and accepting learning environment. Number four, help students develop life and career skills, social and cross-cultural skills, flexibility, adaptability. And the five, help students develop self-awareness, self-esteem, empathy, respect for others, active citizenship, local and global identity, and appreciation of diversity. Learning to be operates on the fundamental principle that education must contribute to the total development of the whole person, body and soul, mind and spirit, intelligence and emotion, creativity and sensitivity, personal autonomy and responsibility, social conscience and commitment, human, ethical, cultural and spiritual values.
Magandang umaga po, ma'am. Tulungan ko na po kayo.
School as the social institution and as an organizational in Chapter 2. School as a social institution is the basic purposes of education is the transmission of the knowledge. The intellectual purposes of the schooling is to help students acquire higher order thinking skills such as analysis, evaluation, and sentences. The political purposes of the schooling is to prepare citizenship who will participation in the political order. To teach children the basic law of the society, purposes of schooling is to socialize children into a various rules, behavior, and value society. Psycholization, a key ingredient is the stability of society, enables members to help solve social problems like social work, along with other social institutions such as the family and the church to ensure social cohesion. The economic purposes of schooling is to prepare students for the latter occupational rules to select, train, and allocate individuals into a division of the labor. The multi-school function in 2015 is, number one, is technical economic function. Is to refer to the contributions of school to the technical or economic developments and needs of the individual, the institution, the local community, the society, and also the international community. Number two is the human social functions. Refers to the contributions of school to human development and school relationship at different levels of the society. Is the school help develop students to develop their potential, psychological, social, and physical? Number three is the political function. Refers to the contributions of school to the political development and different levels of the society. And the individual levels of the school is to help students to positive civic attitudes and skills to exercise the rights and responsibility of citizenship. Number four is the culture function. Refers to the contribution of school to the culture transmission and develop at different levels of society and to help the students in their school to develop their creativity and awareness to be socialized with the successful norms, values, and beliefs of the society. And the last one is the educational function. Refers to the contribution of school to develop and maintain of education at the different levels of society. And the most important for school to help students to learn and to help teachers to learn how to teach. And second one is the facilitating the teacher's profession development. The manifest and latent function of education is to manifest function of education are the open and intended goals or consequence of activities within an organization and institution. The latent function are the hidden, unstated, and sometimes unintended consequence of activities in school. The manifest function is the number one, social control. Social control is the learning to obey rules and law of society. Number 2 is the psycholization. Psycholization refers to the learning how to become an adult. Number 3 is the social placement. Social placement refers to the fact and the education can provide a tool to upward social and economic mobility. Number 4 is the transmitting culture. Transmitting culture is a young people are exposed to the existing belief, norms, and values of the society. Number 5 is the promoting social and political integration. And the last one is the agent of a change. And the Latin function is the restricting some activities. Number 2 is the matchmaking and production of the social network. Number 3 is the creation of generation gap. The function of school as stated by Calderon 1998 are as follows. Number 1 is the conservation function. Number 2 is the institutional function. Number 3 is the research function. Number 4 is the social service function. School as an organization is a collection of people who work together to attain civilized objectives, and there are two types of school organization. Number 1 is the formal organization. Formal organization is a type of a group that is deliberately constructed and whose numbers are organized to achieve a specific goal. Number 2 is the informal organization. Informal organization is a group of people who share a common identifier and are committed to achieving a common purposes.
School culture is the basic assumptions, norms, and values and cultural artifacts that are shared by school members which influence their functioning at school. School performance reflects the effectiveness and efficiency of the schooling process. Effectiveness, in general sense, refers to the accomplishment of the school's objectives. School climate. It can be thought as the atmosphere or attitude of a school, an aggregate measure of school's characteristics such as relationship between parents, teachers, and administrators as well as the physical facilities on the ground. School culture can be understood as the personality of the school. Culture is much more difficult to change because of the numerous elements involved. Some of these includes the climate, the mission and vision, routines, rituals, ceremonies, norms, symbols, stories, values, and beliefs. There are some positive culture climate in school. Mission is about student and teacher learning, rich sense of history and purpose, core values and collegiality, performance, and improvement center around quality, achievement, and learning for all students. Positive and proactive approaches for staff and students, stories that celebrate successes and recognize heroines and heroes, physical environment reflects pride and joy, widespread sense of respect and nurturing. There are importance of positive school culture. Research has found when teachers and students feel a sense of community, he or she is more satisfied with the work that she has done, or more likely to attend school, enjoy what he or she is doing, and has higher achievement. The school community will be much more likely to succeed if there's a sense of significance and encouragement, rather than a competition and hopelessness. Therefore, it is essential that leaders in school are working to create a safe, caring, responsive, and positive school culture to assure individuals are provided with the opportunities to be successful throughout his or her life. There are key elements that frame school culture. Number 1 is the structure. Number 2 is the powerful school ethics. Number 3 is trust. Number 4 is common behavioral and academic expectations for students and staff. And number 5 is staff and parent empowerment. School culture is the basic assumption.
Good day. I will be teaching or discussing Chapter 3, Educational Leadership. Leadership in school is the most important factor in achieving improvements in school performances. Leaders make a significant difference in any organization. There is no single way to lead with a guaranteed success. Leadership is suited and contextual, involving issues such as diversity, inclusion, and equity. The definition of leadership is very subjective. Given there is more than one way to lead, perhaps a combination of many, and what may be good in some contexts may not be in others. In order to achieve success, a school requires a trained committed teachers, but in return they need a leadership that has a highly effective principle. Most traits are common in lots of people, but what makes a difference is being able to implement traits and skills, which is where the theory and strategy become effectively, particularly to intrapersonal leadership. It is important to acknowledge that a leader should not be required to possess a universal traits. The leadership traits possessed should be specifically to their institute. It is not worth nothing that there is currently little work that identifies any relationship between leadership traits and successful school or positive school climate without the appropriate implementation of a leadership in practice. McCall and Lombardo in 1983 developed the ideas of Stadgill in researching both success and failure. They identified 4 primary traits by which leaders could succeed or alternatively derail. The 4 traits are: the first trait is emotionally stable and composure, being calm, confident, and predictable in particular way when under stress. Second is admitting error, owning up to mistake rather than putting energy into covering up. Third is good interpersonal skills, being able to communicate and pursue others without resorting to negative or convicting tactics. And lastly, intellectual breadth, being able to understand a wide range of areas rather than having a narrow area of expertise. And that's all for chapter 3. Thank you.